Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today was a new. I quite enjoy sci-fi shows, and I've started watching a new one called Almost Human, which is a bit of an iRobot ripoff. So a guy, in this case happens to be a policeman, is forced to work with robots, and he doesn't like robots. And so this show is set in the year 2048, which is a bit too close. I think that's not far away in reality at all. I think it could easily have been 2148. I mean, I don't know if the writers ever watched shows like 2001: A Space Odyssey, maybe. You know, written in the 70s, said, yeah, in 30 years we'll be driving people to Jupiter. Yeah, I don't think so. So in this show, yeah, I don't think that in the year 2048 we will having robot companions that look like people. In fact, look so much like people, they're played by actors. So the show stars Carl Urban, who you may know from such films as Judge Dredd, the new one, and what else was he in? He's been in quite a few things recently. He's a New Zealander, but we won't hold that against him. Yeah, so this show, I mean, it's a sci-fi, and I always enjoy sci-fis, even when they're pretty ordinary. But what compelled me to vlog about this particular show? Well, I thought it had one interesting plot point that was a bit of a reflection on life, and I don't know if the creators of the show really thought about it before they did it, or that's just how it turned out. But in this show, police need to work with a robot. It's become mandatory. And so the old models of robots had thinking and feeling and, you know, whatever. They were designed to mimic humans as much as possible. Then they decided, you know what, this don't work. So they moved to a new model, which basically went exactly by the book. And this police robot, well, the police robots, will happily abandon their human counterpart if the odds say that you know, the mission will be accomplished if they let their human counterpart die. So they're completely statistically based, and I thought that this had a bit of a reflection on real life at the moment, or in Australia anyway, where many years ago the police would go, hey mate, you were acting like a dickhead, I'm going to book you, as opposed to, hey mate, you were doing 20 k's over the speed limit on this open freeway, just watch it, you know, you're going to get in trouble. I recognise that you weren't being inherently dangerous. Thank you. I realise that you weren't being dangerous, but you know, I'm just warning you. You know, that's what the police used to be like. And if you were flying down a suburban street doing 61, they would come out, you know, and there's kids running around the street and you're swerving around them, they would come down on you like a ton of bricks. That's how the police should work. That's how law enforcement should work. If you're being dangerous, they're there to protect people. But you know, humanity now says, oh no, we don't trust people. We don't trust anyone. I don't know. Is it some sort of admission that things like the police force are just completely full of corruption? Yeah, these people are probably corrupt, so we won't let them make any decisions. And what they do now is say, here is the book of rules, you must follow it exactly. If we find out that you didn't follow this exactly, you lose your job. And that's exactly how a robot works, you know. It just follows the rules exactly, blindly. And you know, that's really the impression that life gives us of the police. And I guess then you can say, well, now I know what the police are going to do because they follow the book. But it's really not their job description, is it? To protect and to serve. Well, that's the American one. What's this Aussie one? I don't know. Raise as much revenue as possible. I think that's the Australian Police Force's motto. Yes, a friend of mine told me it's somewhere, and I don't know if it was here or somewhere else, that the gates were open and you could ride along under the power lines on their trail bikes. I thought, trail bikes? Hey, I've almost got one of those. So I thought I'd spend my little ride tonight just checking out if I could find it. Well, possibly I have. Oh, hey! Well, there you go. A little bit of exploring and you'll find all sorts of stuff. Get up here and have a look at the view, if there is one. Ah, have a look at that! And a bit like poor old Derek, we also, neutral please, we also have couches of our own. A couple of things I was going to say. I've done a couple little mods on this bike. One, if you watch all of my videos, you'll have seen I did a video called Grippy, and I talked about the fabrication of a little bracket that I've got in here, which is I use to hold my X grip, which in turn holds the phone. Yeah, so that was one. And then the other day I did this, another little bracket here, which I've screwed off to one of the boot. That's going to crush that wire. Okay, I need to chop that down a little bit more, because actually the seat sits onto that. That's probably why it was a little bit hard to get my seat on. But yeah, this is just another 12-volt outlet, which I use in my bag, which should remain roughly waterproof. A charger for my drift batteries. So I think I'll be able to tape a battery in there or pack it into that bag somehow. And maybe I should run that underneath. It's probably a better option. Yeah, so I can unplug that. You see, I've just got a 12-volt outlet, so I made up this little bracket, and then yeah. Now under the seat on this bike, there's a couple of wires, which I don't know if you can see back there, that are marked ACC1 and ACC2, and they're accessory power supplies. One is connected straight to the battery, says 12 volts, 10 amps maximum, and the other one, which I've used, is only a 1 amp maximum, which goes through the ignition system. So it only comes on when you turn the ignition on, which is good for me, because otherwise I would forget that I've got a battery plugged in and I would probably flatten my battery. And the other thing I did was make one of these plates up, which, you know, they look, you could pay what, like $60 or something for them, and I thought they look incredibly easy, so I just got the aluminium plate I've got, and 2 sheets, cut it to size and bolted it together. So job done. Well, now I feel just like Mr. Baker X Derek, just cruising around his neighbourhood on all these little bush trails. And by the way, Derek, I don't know if you ever watch my videos, I think you have seen a couple, but I think it's really cool that you got that little yellow beast, the DR200, was it? Yeah. Really expecting to. Well, yeah, I often watch your videos and think, oh man, look at those trails up in those hills, and you're on that little pocket bike and there was this big hill climb, and I thought, oh, yeah, give it a go, and you went, oh no, a bit steep for me, you know. And now I'm sort of imagining that on this this new bike, you'll be able to sort of do all those tracks that you spot. Wow, look at that. I might actually get a sunset. Cool. Yeah. Not quite as high as the peaks in San Bernardino, but it's not bad nonetheless. Oh, now Scooter Hoon, hey? Look, power lines. They are good for motorcycles. Well, motorcycles that want to go off-road. Thank you, Thomas Edison. Or was it Bell? No, Bell did the telephone, didn't he? Edison did the... No? I don't know. I never studied history. No history for me. Just the future. That's the only... Whoa! That's the only thing that I really care about. Okay, hey, I'm going to move my camera down to my little mount on the side and have a bit of a play in here until sunset.
I'm